Anyone else want to record?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Can I record, please?
Yes, you may. Let's
Thank
see.
you.
There you are. Allow record. So when you guys record, are you able to record my sketching?
Yes.
Wow, because when I record, it doesn't do it. It just records the big screen and me talking. So I haven't figured out how to get myself. I'm going to try sharing my screen and see if it will record. Oh, that says I have to do a plug-in. Huh. And the other one says I have to cable, and I think I tried it before. Let me see. And it didn't do it. But now that I have less things not working, let's see. Oh, I don't even know if it'll reach it. Oh, and it doesn't fit it. That's the wrong cord. Let's see. I don't know if it will reach it. Let's see. Will it reach it? It has to go from there to there. It won't reach it. I'd have to move my computer over slightly. See if I can get it closer. Okay, without dropping it. Now will it reach it? Almost. Okay, let's try a different, see if I can move this computer. Shoot. Dangerous, me experimenting with all this. Oh, it just doesn't have enough room. Okay, forget it. I don't think I can get the wires close enough. Let's see. Okay, I got it closer. Now, will it fit? Yes. Okay, now let's see if we'll share the screen. Okay, let's see if it works. Okay, let me move that. Connect to Wi-Fi. I am. Tap screen mirroring. Choose. Okay, I don't know what the thing is. Did this change? I think this changed. Okay, it's not doing it, and I don't know why. I'll try to figure it out on another day. I can't figure it out. Okay, so much for my bright idea. I still haven't accomplished understanding all these links and things. Okay, so did everybody see this? Because I've got quite a few participants now. Do I need to review this anymore, or you've got all the words? Everybody's okay with that?
Is this uploaded? This paper, is it uploaded?
I don't think it is. I don't think I
Uploaded?
uploaded it anywhere. So I'll just review it one more time because we're going to do this. What?
Wait, what were you gonna say?
We're going to do a quiz at 10 o'clock. So I just want to review it one more time so you guys remember the words. So this was a skirt yoke. It's usually on the bias.
Can you move it over to the left a little bit?
That way?
Yep, perfect.
Okay. Okay. So the yoke is on the bias and it eliminates the need to have darts to fit around the hips. Woven fabrics need construction like darts or princess seams to move around the hips, but this is on the bias, so it stretches. And this is a box pleat. It actually forms a box right here. It's usually two pleats that go in opposite directions. This is a curved round Peter Pan collar. It was named after a silent movie that first came out. I think Peter Pan was one of the first silent movies that ever came out. And that was the collar that Peter Pan wore. And this is a puff sleeve. It has curved gathered lines all in different lengths. It shapes around the roundness and puffiness of the garment. Usually has a cuff. This is a button cuff with a placket that opens up so you can get your arm through. When we want to show an invisible zipper, we make it darker with a zipper pull. And this is an inverted pleat. Those are pleats that go in the same direction towards each other. So these go away from each other and these go towards each other. This is a collar and a lapel. So if I folded it straight forward, it's part of the shirt bodice or jacket bodice, and the collar sews onto it. There's a seam right here. This is usually on the bias because it needs to stretch to go around the neck, which is a cylinder. So we need stretchier ease so it will be comfortable. This type of collar is called a shawl collar. It usually has a seam right here. Same thing, this collar's on the bias. This is part of the bodice. This silhouette with a waistband and gathers and the ruffle is called a prairie skirt. So if it didn't have the ruffle, it would actually be called a dirndl skirt, but that's not part of the, that's not on the quiz. This style of jacket with the pockets and the V-shaped seams is called a jean jacket. This skirt that bubbles up right here, usually inside has some kind of band or sometimes lacing, like ties that tie the seams up that makes it bubble. So I drew that to show the inside. This one is a jacket, and I'm referring to the cuff and the collar, and it's ribbing. So it's a ribbed cuff and waistband. And you could call it a bomber jacket, but it's not one of the words that I put on the list. So that's the vocabulary words. So I hope you took notes. Okay. So we have at least another week before our project is due. It's not due this Monday. It's going to be due the following Monday. I don't think that's enough time to get your project done. But you guys might surprise me that you're fast, but I think you need more time. And today I'm going to go over corduroy again, and I'm going to go over fur, and I'm going to go over some collars and necklines, and one other thing. Trying to think what it was. Oh, knits. I'm going to go over knits. Okay, so the first one I'm going to do is corduroy. So I'm going to get a pencil to draw with. I'm going to use a Prismacolor pencil, and I'm going to sharpen this pencil. So how are you guys doing? Are you doing okay? Are you keeping up?
I like this project.
Yeah, oh, it's fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's fun.
I haven't started my flats, but I have all my pieces, like I know what I'm doing.
Okay, cool. I'm looking for my references. Don't know where I threw them. Oh, well, I don't know where I threw them. I usually have my magazines with pictures, but I buried them in all these things. So I'll find something else. Okay, so let's see. So there's so many different styles of sketching children. I'm going to make this one a little bit more animated. Have I done more girls than boys? Should I make it a boy or a girl?
A
Okay.
boy.
A boy? Okay. So they have very little neck. They have no real waste. Actually, I don't know why I drew that line there because I want to do corduroy. Maybe I'll do. Let's see. I'm gonna hold my hand up. It's gonna be, yeah, like that.
Where's Brad?
Yeah.
The screen is bigger.
You know, it's funny. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I turned the camera this way. I have no idea.
It worked. It's
What
bigger.
worked?
The screen.
Well, I don't know what I did
Long
different.
and like a long up
I
and
know.
down rectangle.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, I switched to the new iPad yesterday when it wasn't working. So maybe that's why. I really don't know. I have so much to learn about these computers. Okay. But yay, I got that done. I just haven't figured out how to get it to videotape my sketching. Okay, so when you make a mistake, sometimes you can erase it. But I think when I put my print down, you won't see it anyway. I don't know what I was doing. So I'm going to take my colorless blender and try to blend it out a little bit. So if you're going to use any light color, you double check it before you throw it on your sketch. That's pretty good. Sometimes you can, this little colorless blender has a little pink on it, but it's not doing a thing. But I don't think it'll show once I put my markers down. So first I'm going to give a base color. I don't think I have a color close to that color, but we'll see. And when I do the base color, I can either go on the back side or in the folds to see if I like the color. It's okay, it's a little dark. This is the bond paper. It's not the marker paper. The marker paper is better for doing color, but for doing corduroy, this isn't bad because marker paper has more texture. So that's what I'm actually doing is I'm creating something with texture that didn't even show. So we'll just, but you can kind of see, I'm not going in curvy motion anymore because I want it to look like it has corduroy on it. Now I'm going to go a little bit darker. So I can use pencil. So I'm going to find a green pencil. This is grass green. And I'm going to try to just do a stroke with my pencil. So far, so good. Now, I want it to show some areas a little dark. So I could either give it more pressure or I could come in with another green that's a little darker, but you may not have a green that's a little darker. So I could go with a little brown that's a little darker. But this is pretty good. It's coming out just a little bit. So every once in a while, down my lines, it changes to the darker color. And that's what the nap of a fabric would do as light hits it in different areas. I would have some nap change. So I'm also going to put some white or cream, something brighter on it too. So that helps create a little bit more change. And I'm making them different lengths. So I just go a little bit darker in some of my darker areas. Yeah, so it's helping it read that it's a soft cut corduroy that has a little bit of nap. I could take a darker color. I could take black or brown. This is black, and come in and nuance some of the curves. Now my back leg is probably going to be in shadow because the front leg is hiding it. Maybe I'll give it a little cuff. So I could either put it in shadow with my pencil. Yeah, that would work. A little darker where it curves. And I'll go back with my lighter green and blend some of that. So now my back leg's a little darker. And I gave it just a little bit of movement under the calf and where the pocket is doing that. Okay, so now it looks like corduroy. Okay, so I used cream, I used grass green. I took another green pencil, a little more dark, and I used my black right here. I used my black to make corduroy. So I'm going to put a knit sweater on him. So let me see. There's so many different textures that indicate how to do a knit. I could do, just to show you some variation, I could do a drop stitch. I could do a cable stitch. So I like to do it like this. There's more than one way to do it. When I do it like this, I might make it darker on one side just to make it more interesting. But another way to do it would be, they're kind of like little V's. It can also read as a cable stitch, or they look like little hearts. And another, that's cable. And then another one is popcorn, which is just, they kind of look like little pom-poms on top of the fabric. And you would see them on the silhouette edge too. So this is a popcorn. So usually knits are going to have ribbing. So ribbing is different lengths and widths, but it's sometimes 1 by 1 or 2 by 1 or 2 by 2. And it's indicating these ribs, how much space is between them and how many ribs. There's can be 3 by 1. There's so many different variations. So maybe it's a 2 by 2 where they're equally spaced by 2 and 2 rows. So that's another thing that you can put on a rib. Sometimes you'll have an open weave. So you can just show a loose open weave. Sometimes you'll have embroidery on a knit. So you could do a design and show different colors and some embroidery. You could add fringe to a knit. I usually give it a little movement if I'm going to add fringe. Maybe it'll have crochet trim, which is usually a knit trim that can be attached. So if I put a crochet, maybe it would have some scallops and the different weaves. Okay, here's a different crochet. So there's knits where you put a design in the knit. You see it with Argyle plaid. I don't know how to draw an Argyle plaid, but it usually, that could be knitted in. Okay, so I'll let it get darker. Intarsia means it's knitted in. Or you could have an applique. So some of the collars for a knit, you might have a turtleneck knit. So let the ribbing help move the garment and curve. Or a ribbed V-neck. This is like a cowl turtleneck. So you can see the ribbing rolling around. So when I sketch the knit, I don't have to show it in the whole garment. When I sketch the print, I put the shading in and then I put the knit texture in all the shaded areas. So if I was going to shade this top, let's see, get a light gray. don't know how light this is. We'll see. Yeah, it's okay. So I've put down some shadow, and I could put the knit detail just in some of the areas where I have the shadow. And my mind fills in the blanks. I don't have to do the whole thing. So I'm showing this dot around the seam that's called full fashion. So the sleeve is knitted together. Maybe I'll put that popcorn stitch right on the edge. I also could put a little bit of fuzzies on the edge to indicate that the sweater might be fuzzy, like Angora. Could have a little bit of fibers that have just a little bit of fuzz to it. So I drew this with a dark brown. It's called dark umber. So I might come in with just a little bit of black in some of the areas. And the whole purpose of this is to move my eye around. Just a little bit of black in the nuancing, just to move the eye around. So my hair has thick and thin. It has different. It's got a highlight at the bend. It's got more shadow closer to the head. So using the Prismacolor pencils, it doesn't bleed into the color application. This is a brush tip, and I learned the hard way that these brush tips dry out quicker. So they're a hefty investment. So unless you're super advanced and like to go fast, I wouldn't invest in the brush tip. I think it's way too expensive. It is nice though. It's fun to use a brush tip. Using a little bit of shadow. Could have done that on tracing paper and got it smoother, but it works okay with children to not be. Okay. Oh no, he started out with a young face. Now his face is looking older. Okay. So I might put a little texture in there. So put a little multicolored texture in there. And I could put a little bit of texture with my pencil. This is not brown, it's like, what's it called? Tuscan Rouge Texan, so it has a little bit of red in it. It looks more like brown if I don't blend it, but if I took a marker to it, it's going to show it has a little red to it. So I gave it a little texture, a little bit more green in it. I have a nice little knit, and I did that on bond paper. I did not do it on the marker paper, just to give you more choices. But marker paper would have been slicker. Let's see. Going to make that balloon a color. Looking for my black pencil. Gonna throw it back in. Yes, I did. Give him some shoes. Looking at the picture that I have. So whenever I add my shoe, I want 3 values on my shoe. I'm going to leave a little highlight. Now I just introduced a 3rd value. This helps it look dimensional. Make it look more like. Yeah. Okay. So give it just a little bit of value change. Very little brow. When they're younger, they don't have much in there. So it looks like he's happy. Yeah. Okay, so that's one suggestion. A few more ideas for knits. So you can use dots and angles to get some knit effect. So you can use circles, dots and angles. You can use arcs and ribbing. So here's some arcs. You can put more detail on them. You can use loops and scallops. So I could, those are scallops. Loops. So try to experiment so you get a variety of details in your knit fabrics. You can use a rope twist. Looks a lot like cable. You can do angles and curves. You can do call this a honeycomb. Right now it's just looking like a plaid. Then each one of these little diamond patterns could have some texture in them. And it will read like a honeycomb. You don't have to fill in the whole area. I could do and put a little detail inside. There's so many little I could just put little details inside. Holding it together. So this I would call a novelty repeat pattern. So I could do, let's see where I could put it right here. Can you see that? I'll move it up a little.
Miss Rad,
Yep.
it's Daniela. Are you gonna put these up on the module, the knit shirts that you're drawing?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, because I would love to use them for reference.
Yeah, I'm a little slow on getting things up. My printer was really not behaving, and I just ordered a new printer. It's in the box, and I have to set it up. Yes, everything that I demo will eventually all be on the canvas. It'll be on there.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, let's see if I remembered anything. So you can have fun just trying to create patterns with all these choices. So I could do, I'm going to just draw a light line here, but instead of making it a line, I could make it circles. The knit market is really quite exciting. I think they have a knit major at Trade Tech. I think they do, but there's a lot of job opportunities in designing and creating knits. So maybe I'll make this one just a little stitch.
I cheat. I upcycle knit, but I like make it like I take knits that's already done and I turn them into like different sweaters by combining them.
That's cool. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, it's fun and it saves like a lot of like I can't imagine doing a whole shirt like like by scratch, but like combining is really fun and weird.
How do you keep it from raveling out?
I stitch them like I knit them together. So I do like a knit stitch, knitting them together, joining them.
That's fun.
Yeah. So when I cut them, I just kind of like sometimes I used to just burn it. Like I tried different ways, like burning it, burning the edge, and then knitting it together.
And how did you learn how to do all this?
Just playing it with clothes, just
Yeah.
destroying stuff and putting it together.
Fun.
Because I've been selling clothes for a long time, and so I ended up with like a whole bunch of clothes, and then I would end up like getting rid of them or like bringing them back to Goodwill or something. And so then I just started like taking them apart and trying to create new things with them.
How fun is that? Do you keep a journal of everything you do?
No,
Oh, you should.
I should.
It's so funny because I had a student who went to I don't know how to pronounce it right, Savile Row in England, and he was interning for all these designers. And I said, you should keep a diary of everything you're learning. And later on, I invited him to my class to share his experiences. And he brings out the diary, and I'm like, oh my God, that's such a great idea. How did you think of that? And he goes, you told me. And I went, yeah, I did. I forgot. And I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, because to journal it and keep it in a form where you could go back and see and date it will really, really help you along your career. So definitely journal it. Okay, so I'm going to go over some of the things. If I wanted it to look like a rope, they're like sideways S's that just wrap around. So that would look like a rope. So if I want it to look like a chain,
That's what I was trying to create, a chain for one of my things.
yeah.
And I couldn't figure it out.
And then the one I'm always doing, the braid. So you can have a braid, and you can also come back and put a third one on, and then you have a braid. And so you can mix and match them on your knit. Okay, so let me do a few. I just want to do a light line so I can see what I'm doing. So I get it kind of parallel. Yeah. I'm trying to just repeat. You can see I'm making a pattern. Okay, let's name these. What would you call this one? Anybody want to guess?
U shape
U-shape?
collar.
Okay, so
Isn't that at the top one like a scoop neck?
oh, this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that one is,
A U shape.
yeah.
Oh,
Okay. What about this one? What would you call this one?
A crew, no, it's not a crew neck, but it's something in between a crew neck and a scoop.
Okay, what would you call that one?
A crew neck.
So I usually call a crew neck one that has
Um,
the ribbing. Okay, so we'll
um,
come back to this. So what would you, these two, I have the same name. What would you call them? Anybody know? Okay, we'll go to this one. Anybody know what this is?
Princess?
No, but you're close. What about this one? Anybody know this?
Turtleneck?
Yeah.
Rib turtleneck?
Anybody want to guess this one?
It's not a V-neck. But I
Yeah,
remember those shirts were in style.
Which one are you pointing at?
this one right here.
Oh, definitely.
Tiny bit more off.
What did you say?
Can you move the paper a little more off?
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. So I wrote asymmetrical. This one I wrote sweetheart. Anybody want to guess that again?
Isn't that
Okay,
cow?
this one's no. A cow. That's a cow. It has a little bit of movement. Okay, so these two have the same name.
Yep, I would have never guessed it.
Yeah. The first lady wore one of these at the inauguration.
Oh yeah, in blue.
Yeah. So what about this one? Anybody know this one?
Mm.
Okay, so it starts with a B. So we'll go back to this one. Anybody want to guess this? One is a little wider. Okay, so this one is a round neck, a little wider. And this one is a jewel neck line.
I remember you mentioning a jewel neckline.
Yeah, so this is either a bateau or a boat neck. Okay, so let's see. This one could be called a stovepipe or a mock turtleneck. If I put a seam there, it would be a mock turtleneck. It stands up slightly. This one is a little away from the body. That's part of what makes it built up. Let's see. Oh, square. And this one's a diamond. I don't think I missed any. Let's see.
One of those is like a priest collar, but I don't know if it's what it's called. Right?
Yeah.
Is it actually called priest collar?
No, it's called a stand. Collar stand.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Anybody know what that's called?
Mandarin?
I didn't hear it.
A Mandarin collar?
Yes.
Is that collar Henry named after the kings of England?
Oh, this is this one.
Yeah.
This is an N
Oh,
called a Nehru. Yeah, it does look.
Nehru?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Anybody know that one?
I don't know. Like a tunic. It looks like those Asian collars, like to like a or like traditional shirt. What is it?
Let's see. I kind of made it high on the neck. It should look like this.
What's the name of it?
Which one?
The one you wrote, is it Herky?
Henley. It's an N.
Oh, Henley. Okay. Henley.
So this is a convertible collar.
What makes it that?
Because it can be worn both ways. It can be either worn closed or it can be opened and it looks like that.
Oh.
Miss Riad,
Yeah.
the convertible collar and the pointed collar. The only thing that's different between them is this like curve under the pointed collar. What's doing that? Yeah.
Um, it's appointed because the pattern shape looks like that. And so it makes those points. Is that your question? Or
Yeah, I
this?
just don't know what the difference is between the convertible collar and the pointed collar.
Oh, because this one is made to be worn open or closed.
Mm-hmm.
This one has a collar stand. That's what.
Okay. There's a collar stand though. Thank
Yeah. So when this one opens, the collar stand still holds the shirt. So even if it wants to fold,
It's gonna push together.
yeah. So it
Okay.
doesn't really do that. I don't think I made this. Looks funny. Exaggerating. Exaggerate a lot.
Can everybody put their thing that's on mute? It's like a weird sound.
Oh, that did it.
Miss Rad, are we going over collars and the like sleeve cuffs?
Yeah,
Okay. Are we going over just those two?
yeah.
Okay.
Something else?
I was just curious.
Oh.
Miss Raz, when will we have a test on all of these?
Only if I tell you.
Oh,
Like the first one I did, that's our quiz. But I'll always remind you and I'll keep reviewing it.
yeah,
So there's just so many details.
right.
You won't have a quiz on all of them.
Okay. You'll probably be like study them but
Yeah.
memorize the main ones or something.
Well, they're nice to have for reference if you
Yeah.
are stuck when you're designing and you need an idea. That's when
Yeah.
it's
Jeez.
weird. Every day I hear sirens. Used to be just once in a while. Now it's every day.
It's because of me. I live behind a fire department. I don't
Oh,
even need an alarm clock.
no, it's not. It's just not on when we're teaching.
Oh,
Everywhere.
I wonder. People going crazy and leaving the ovens on, I guess.
Ouch. That reminds me of once I left a plastic spoon in the oven. When I turned the oven on to heat, tons of smoke came out of the oven.
I've gone to work and I was still cooking beans on the stove top.
Uh-oh, what happened?
Well, I left so I was at work and I told them, oh, I left my beans on the stove, and then I tried calling my mom, but she was out shopping and wasn't answering her phone. And I tried calling my stepdad and he was out running because he was like training for like a 10K run. And so I started speeding there and I was really nervous, and I started speeding to get home, and I was almost home and I got pulled over.
Oh my gosh.
And I told them, what was going on, but yeah, because I was so hysterical, I got a really fat ticket.
Oh my gosh.
It was actually really funny looking back, but a nightmare. Like, man, I should make a movie out of that scene. Oh,
I did it once and I called a friend and they went over and turned it off. I think the fire department will go in and turn it off too.
yeah, they ended up like calling the fire department, even though I was only like, I was super close to my house. I was so mad they did that. But they went to and they called the fire department, and then luckily, because they were gonna have to break the door down, but luckily I was a dumbass and forgot to lock it. They didn't do that. That was the one good thing. We didn't have to replace the doorknob. Jeez.
Oh.
Miss Rad, could you push it up, please? Thank you.
Miss Rad,
Yep.
where did you put where to find like for what we needed for the intro?
For the project,
Yeah,
um,
like what?
well, I haven't written the assignment yet for the children's collection.
No, I didn't create an intro, I guess, for my last collection. I didn't like,
Do a cover page.
yeah, I guess.
Is it on the rubric?
Is there questions? Yeah, it says I don't have the intro and what was my creative process. I didn't get points for those two things.
So add it. You can.
I
re-
know. Is
So-
it so just like do like write my own thing? Like just a
There's there's on the module. There's a lot of questionnaires, and one of them was introduce yourself. A lot of questions.
module. Okay.
Yeah, and it has
Alright.
all the questions. So that
Okay.
there were questions, so you could put more content into your presentation.
Okay. I'll look for it. Introduce yourself.
Miss Rad, is it going to be basically the same presentation for the child's collection?
Yeah, except the brand is changed and the why you picked it and your journey, all that would be different. But you still would have the same format, a cover page.
Okay, it's basically the same. So if we wanted to start early on it, we could just look at that and basically just start making that again,
Right.
but
Start
for the collection.
Yes,
Okay.
the mood board. And then research a brand that you like.
Demo worksheet phase. Do you know what week it would be in, the questions?
I could go find it. 1 second and I'll go find it. I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to go to my desktop. I'm going to go to modules. Can you see my desktop?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's so much stuff. Where do you find it? Let's see. So we're looking for questions. If it's in here. No. Yeah, half the battle is how to organize all these things I throw up here. So it's not in videos.
Is it called introduction questionnaire?
It could be. Where do you see that?
Identify 5 characters you have that will make you a great fashion designer.
Oh no, this is what you gave us. This was that assignment that you gave us. This is
Might be under, not in modules, but under the assignment. Where I put it. So let's see. I'm not finding it in there.
Wait, what was I just saying?
Might be under assignments. Let's see. So it was called presenting your first collection. Here it is. It's in the assignment, presenting your first collection. And then it says you will introduce yourself. So,
Assignments. Wait, hold on 1 second.
okay, so there it is. Does that help?
Presenting first collection.
Yeah.
Yeah, introduction of yourself, share your journey, choose why. Okay.
Got it? And then as you go down that page, it also says, how did you get inspired? Answer the following questions. So those 3 handouts were to help you. Does that help?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
How you introduce.
Okay, I'll come back to this. It's putting me to sleep. I can't imagine what it's doing to you guys. I'm going to do some fur. So when I draw fur, I try to make it curve so it makes it look luxurious. When I'm doing fur, I try to get diagonals. I might make one side. Okay, so I'm just going to make a person here. I make one side a little higher than the other. It also will have color and texture. So I might put a little bit of side of the pencil, and I can mix ink with marker so I can get thick and thin. Might get a few little textures in there. And then I bring marker in. So when I bring marker in, I'm going to pick like a light walnut. That's pale peach. Oh. There we go. So I'm trying to make my chisel point taper so it looks like a paintbrush. So I'm curving it so it would look like hair, basically. I still have the highlight on the top of the mountain. Yeah, I might mix some other color with it just to give it a little bit of extra color. And I've used my thin marker. I've used my thick marker. So I have definite line variety. So I'm scrubbing it with the tip, but then I'm pulling it too. So I get a little bit of line variety. That's a fox fur. Let's say I'm going to put her hand over here.
That's pretty.
This one is going to just be short hair. So I have just a little bit of movement. Again, I leave some white so it reads. I'm going to come in with my black and around some of the curves. No, that's not black. Well, that's a little bit darker brown. Might make it a little bit darker. So I'm gonna, no idea what color this is. So I left a little white on the top of the highlight. I used 2 shades of brown and I'm gonna come in with just a little darker right there. So it helps it read that the light is furthest away over here. Just blending it a little. But just every once in a while I have the fur, but some of it's straight. So it helps it read that's a short hair. So this is a faux mink and faux fox. That means fake. And then one of the things you'll usually always see is Sherpa, curly fur. It's made after lamb. It's usually fake today. So let's say I had got a haircut by his mother. It looks like a bowl. Okay, there he is. And he's going to put on his Levi jacket, and it's got lots of Sherpa. And even his cuffs have the curl.
Miss Rat, I
Yeah.
was wondering, the coat that I asked you to make before, is the right term for that name called Penny Lane?
Oh,
I was wondering.
well, that's what it was called online when I looked it up.
Yeah. Or if it's actually supposed to be called an Afghan coat. Because I've seen the name for both. It's probably technically like an Afghan coat. They probably invented it.
Well, Penny Lane,
Coat.
Penny Lane, I think is a historical name. It probably was a style in the 70s when
Yeah.
it was first originally made.
Okay.
Definitely after her. And I think it's the Beatles that made it a song. Siri, play the song Penny Lane. Oh, I have to push the button. Siri, play the song Penny Lane.
So you think it was a historical piece that was
Yeah, just like
that
Peter.
they named after?
Yeah,
Do you think it was named? So it was named after a woman?
yeah, yeah.
Cool. You should watch Almost Famous. That's a really good movie. And then one of the main characters is called Penny Lane. And she has this really nice Penny Lane coat. It's a really good movie.
What's it called?
It's called Almost Famous.
Okay.
Kate Hudson is the star in it. She does. It's a really good movie. I think it does take place in the 70s.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
There's a skirt called the mushroom skirt, and it's named after the 70s when
Yeah, I remember you telling us. That was cute.
a lot of clothing is made after whatever's going on in society at the time. So let's invent the COVID jacket.
How would that look, Miss Rad?
The COVID jacket?
Yeah.
Let me think. It would have a built-in mask.
That sounds right. It's like the collar, it's like a cowl, but then it pulls up over your face.
Yeah.
I have so many cute masks now. I honestly, yeah.
They're so uncomfortable. I don't like wearing them.
I make the one that like cups over your nose. I don't like the flat one. I make that one, but I like it. I don't know. I like the kind of like you only see your eyes type of thing vibe with it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's mysterious. It's like
Yeah.
that, like a Middle Eastern look. Pretty.
Yeah. I'm gonna have so many cute, like I've been just making them to go with my outfits. I've been making them for people also, but I like took some shirts apart and like some fabric that I had and like made. So now I have like outfits to go with my face mask. Cause even though like we're gonna be able to go to the beaches and stuff, I think we're gonna still have to wear masks.
So here's my COVID jacket. And maybe he'll wear a hat because he doesn't want the virus in his hair. Okay, so he's got the built-in mask, which means it's got to be fitted and have some tight thing on his nose. And maybe it'll have a seam right here. And then maybe drawstrings right there so he can make it tighter. There we go. The COVID jacket. And let's see, how do you get in it? Maybe you get in the back so that it, or maybe the sides.
That'd be annoying.
Get in the sides. And then it flips over your head, or it opens, probably opens right here. And then you get in the sides. I don't know. It's my
It
COVID.
could be a pullover.
Yeah. Yeah, and it works. I can go built-in, the built-in mask. The problem is they're so uncomfortable. They haven't figured out a way to make them a little more comfortable. Okay, so I was doing the furs. So I have the Sherpa. So I used some gray on the Sherpa and a little bit of brown. Kind of like the gray. Left a highlight with the cream, left a highlight with the white paper. So you can see it's not a lot of detail, just enough so that it reads. So this would be Sherpa. So we have a curly fur, a short hair, and long hair. So we have to add fur. Let's see. I've got all my things. So I haven't done velvet or leather. So it's mostly textured fabrics that have some nap. So I did corduroy, it has a nap. So if I wanted to make this cute little COVID jacket velvet, that's what I'll do. I'll make it velvet. So there's a couple ways to go about it. I could take a purple. Maybe I'll make it purple. I lost my purple marker. Let's see. I don't know how I managed to lose things. Maybe I won't make it purple. I'll make it red. Can't find my purple. So I'm on bond paper. Bond paper is not as easy as marker paper to do velvet because I can take advantage of it being more transparent. Bond paper is transparent, but not as much as marker paper. I can still do it, but there's just one technique I can't show you if I don't use the marker paper. So I'm going to use the marker paper. So I'm just going to trace my cute little COVID jacket. Maybe I should put a pocket on it so I could put my gloves in it. So it snaps and it has side slits. Okay, and I put the center front seam. I don't think I need it. Okay, I didn't even need that. I don't know why I did it. Okay, so if I use the back side of the marker paper, I accidentally got 2 sheets here. And I'm going to color it in. You just use some scrap paper underneath because I don't want to bleed through my other paper. So if your marker's straight up, you can pretty much outline with the edge of your marker. The more you draw, the more you'll get better at manipulating your marker. So inside I go circular motion so I get better saturation. So the technique I'm showing you is how to save money by not having to buy markers in different values. Taking one marker and I'm going to make it lighter. So I don't have to buy 2 markers. You can get quite hefty, the price. So I try, the circular motion also helps me just get all those little uneven areas that left white paper. Okay, so I turn it over and it looks like that streaky denim look that I wanted last week, but I don't want that. So I have a choice. I could use colorless blender and just fill it in and it'll make it a little lighter red. Or I could use 10% gray. Either one will help it look smoother. So if I can find 10% gray, wherever I last put it. So a pale color, this is pale peach. It's very pale. It'll work too. And it's just smoothing out the mottled effect, helping pull it together. So I will be covering this with shadows. So it's not necessary to spend all night getting it smooth, but I will be. Okay, so now this is what the side I want. I can put the same marker on the front in the shadow areas. So under the arm, it would be a little darker. And they're shapes, they're not right. If I do a stick, it's boring. So under the one side has more shadow than the other. That for that reason, it establishes the light source is coming from here. And maybe a little more under the bust on this side. Okay, so I've made a nice shadow area. So I'm going to take a white pencil or a cream, anything pale. I'm going to use white. So what I'm trying to do is show the contrast of velvet. I might have some examples. So when the light hits white, hits a color, it gets a brighter contrast. Here you can see it's dark, but it's bright on this side where the light source is coming through. So that's what I'm trying to create with my velvet. So with the side of my pencil, I'm going to show, going in one direction, how some of the light hits it. It said one direction, and then I started not doing what I said. So I'm trying to make it smooth, but build it up so it's really a bright contrast. And you can use the point of the pencil to do some of the hard lines that you might see on the edge and on the top of the folds. Yeah, you would definitely see some velvet right there. So now I have the highlight, but I need more depth for the shadow area. I'm going to come in with the side of my pencil. This is a dark brown, and I'm going to just put some texture on this side of the garment, which is going to help it read. And underneath some of this white highlight is a fold, which helps the white pop up. So now I have dark brown and I have white pencil. If I come in and blend some of that dark brown, not all of it, just some of it, it helps build a nap. It helps it look textured. So I did the brown on purpose because now I'm going to do some black just in areas that I want to emphasize. And then it'll slowly change from black to brown, popping up that depth and dimension. So I use my black pencil and my red back over the black, and it just helps pop it up. Staying away from the white, just enough to draw interest around the sketch and make it look dimensional. And then I can nuance it. I can either nuance it with my pencil or nuance it with my marker, either way. So I could come in here and get my black, just a little bit of movement. And then some of this I'm going to put a little darker because I just love the contrast. It's not everywhere. You can also scrub the black and pull it with the edge to help it read more nuance. Scrubbing it just a little will pop it up. So now I've got velvet. So if it was suede, I might put one of my textures underneath it. So if I made this little pant suede and my texture, I'll put underneath it, and I'll use either my brown or my gray. So I put a little texture first. I'm going to come in and put some marker on. I'm also on bond paper. This actually promotes texture. So I used a pale peach, and now I'm going to use maybe the eggshell to get it a little more color change. Because when you move suede around, you see some nap. So I mixed eggshell, that's kind of dry, which is actually kind of good. And I did light peach. Both those colors are pale. I could add a little gray to it. I never did find my marker. That one's colorless blender. Well, I can add my gray pencil to it. I'll put that texture back under there. And that just helps it look like light's hitting it differently and creating some tonal change. So I have gray and I have brown mixed, which isn't bad. And I might go back over it with my darker eggshell just to blend some of it. But it's starting to read like a textured suede would read. So on this one, I'm going to come back. I'm going to draw the pant. It's really hard to put pants together and have it not look like a skirt. So my suggestion is don't do them close together. So you can tell it's a pant, but I already drew it. So, and I staggered it a little bit. So if I want to do a black leather, I have a lot of choices. So there's more than one method. So I'm going to do the easiest method first, which is, well, there's like 3 different methods to do black. The easiest method is to come in and do it all solid. Might leave just a little outline so I can tell. So if you take black and you put black marker pencil, not marker, black pencil, Prismacolor waxy pencil, and I'm going to put it under the knee here and under the knee here and a little bit on this back leg. So I emphasized the pocket, created a shadow, and underneath the knees. And then I go over it with the marker. It's going to make it significantly darker than the rest. And now I'm going to add a white pencil. So black has soft drape, black leather. So here comes my white pencil, and then it moves softly. It just moves around the kneecap, and then it's soft. So far, so good. So I have the white, I have the black, I have 2 tones of black, and I'm going to add a little bit of reflective color. So you look at your composition, and if there's some color that another person is wearing, I'm going to just put a little bit of that color into my leather. So leather is smooth, it drapes softly. That's why I have this lovely drape, putting a little black behind the white. So I just emphasize the calf. Okay. Maybe here from this, it had a little shadow. So I put the soft white, I did a little hard white with it went from soft to hard. And then I put a little blue reflective color. That's probably the easiest way to do leather, but not the only way to do leather. So I'm gonna go back here. I don't think I ever did put shoes on this model. So I'll just put some shoes. So here's my shoe, and it has a little bit of thick and thin. And I'm going to take it with any color, even the colorless blender, while it's still wet, and smear it. And that'll get me another tonal change. And you can put a little bit of the same reflective color that you put right here. I could put a little bit in my shoe. And I'm going to blend it a little bit, just a little bit. Well, it took away a lot of my reflective color. Might put it back in. Thought it would just blend it a little bit. It's okay. And I'm going to make that sole a little textured with my pencil. Okay, so I've got a nice velvet. So the velvet was shaded with white pencil and black and brown pencil. And then I use marker over just the dark values. I don't put marker on the white. Well, the other characteristic of velvet is that when the light hits it from moving the fabric, it gets a really bright contrast, not a wimpy contrast. So over that white pencil, I could change and make it a stronger contrast. I still know that it's a red velvet, but when the light hits it, it gets that yellow contrast, which is fine. And if I wanted more texture, I could come add some texture in my areas that had highlight. And if I didn't want to lose so much highlight, I could go back with a little white pencil so I don't lose all the highlight. But I do that so that I show some nap. I like the nap to show. Then I know that that's got to be a soft velveteen or a soft velour over a pair of leather pants. So what makes leather different than velvet is that it only has a little bit of texture. It's not completely all textured. And it has soft curvy waves in the drape. Whereas the velvet's a little heavier, it'll droop, it won't have a lot of loose wrinkles. It will droop more. Those little ties, I'm gonna make them look like they're red. And then, let's see, so the black, I did black first. I did the side of the white pencil. And then I added the yellow orange. I put light blue to be the reflective color. Now I've shown you leather, an easy way, velvet, an easy way, and suede, an easy way, a fake long hair, a fake short hair, and a fake curly hair. And I've held your attention for 2 hours. Are you ready to fall asleep? Anybody fall asleep? No? Or yes, because nobody said anything. Maybe everybody is sound asleep.
I'm fine.
Cool.
I'm here for once.
For once, who's that?
Daniela.
Okay.
I kind of just get up and walk around at random times.
Yeah, it's hard, huh?
Yeah, I really miss the classroom. I feel like the classroom, it kept me up. I would go to class, which is 4 hours of sleep, and I was perfectly fine.
It's different with online, huh?
Yeah, I miss interacting with my teacher and my classmates.
Yeah. Yeah, it's different. Well, they'll find a cure and then we'll all be back to normal.
I really liked when they do the professor would do the lecture and then we do the lab and then they do a demo and then we do a lab.
Yeah, it makes it flow.
Yeah. And I feel like I would get so much more done then.
Yeah.
And then I miss just staying at school to avoid going to work. I miss staying a little late after class to avoid going to work.
That's cute. You don't like your job?
No.
Oh, where do you work?
I work for a clothing company
Yeah. So
that
just
makes girl dresses.
oh,
My coworker told me that she got called to go in to start going in on Monday, and I was like, I hope they don't call me. I was having anxiety last night about it.
because you might have to go.
Yeah.
And so if you
Are they
refuse,
gonna open the store, like, or is it gonna be delivery only?
It's a clothing company. They distribute to stores, but
Oh, okay.
directly from China,
I see.
or like the cutting services. I have to, if I refuse to go back, they take my unemployment.
oh, so you're stuck.
Yeah, but I mean, I have a little money saved up and I don't really use my unemployment.
Yeah. I used eggshell.
I'm so weird. I can't wait to go to work and do things. I can't wait.
Okay, that was the easiest way to do leather. So I've got some contrast with pencil, and I've got highlight and soft pencil for white. So another way to do leather is to paint it on. So it's a little more complicated. Some students like the method, some don't. So I'll start in the lighter areas. It has a wavy fold. So I want to get that wavy fold. So this is, I'm doing it on the bond paper. I usually would do this on the marker paper, but it will work on the bond paper. It just doesn't blend as smooth, but it still will work. And leather has some texture, so even if it doesn't go smooth, I would just put texture in there. So I start with some dark. So it helps to have a photo reference so you can see value change and see where the darks and lights are.
Latoya, did you get the internship?
I don't think she heard.
It says on mute.
They let me know. Wait, what's today? The 9th? Tomorrow, the 10th.
Good luck.
Thank you. I feel good about it. I feel like I'm gonna get it, which is gonna be awesome. I'm like working, so like right now I'm going back to LA on the 25th. Well, no, I'm going to Seattle to visit a friend the 25th, but I'll be back in LA June 1st. And I'm gonna start working on my truck and like videoing, like vlogging my turning it, making it fully like off the grid.
That's so cool. Seattle's really fun. I went there last year.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to explore because everything shut down. But
Yeah.
I'm just my friend like been living there for like 3 years, and I've been supposed to have like visited, and I was like, oh, this is a great time to visit. Like I don't, so I'm gonna go and see their new baby and like hang out with them.
Their parks are really nice. My sister lives in like a island off of Seattle, and it was really cool because we took a ferry and my boyfriend drove the rental on the ferry.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the tickets they're not as cheap as they were when I first was traveling. My ticket to Connecticut was only $30, but now it's like coming back it was like 100. So it's not as bad as it normally is, but it's not as cheap either. So, but yeah, maybe that's what I'll tell them that I want to do is see the parks. It's cold there, isn't it?
When I went, it was raining a lot. It wasn't too cold. I would think you'd be fine with just. No, I'm lying to you. I had a sweater and a jacket when I went, but I also went in April.
Oh,
So it's break time. You guys can go have breakfast.
mm-hmm.
Don't want breakfast?
Yeah.
Okay. Go have some breakfast. prior to that. I'm going to put this in the same module with those worksheets. It's week 4, day 19 worksheet for fabric. So I'm going to add the step-by-step swatches.
Did you want us to take the quiz now?
Yes, you can. It's open at 10 o'clock. Yeah, you can.
Okay, cool.
Miss Rad, when is that test due?
You have till midnight to do it.
Okay, thank you.
It opened at 10 a.m. So even though there's some pros and cons of online class, you get longer to take a quiz. Hmm. Oh, wait.
Miss Brad.
Yep.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is there like a template, like on not a template, but like how to draw the children's figure? Because you know how like the 9 figure is like the head is from like 1 to 1/2.
Yes. Like 3 days ago, I did a demo, and all those templates I have on the module, and it's about a 6 head, not a 9 head.
Is it like I just printed them out?
Just printed them out. Okay, I have one from the demo. Give me a few minutes to find it, where I had it all ruled. So I didn't put that on the.
You know, let me check first again so that you don't have to go back and
No, I didn't put it on, but I did copy it. So let me find it, and I'll put it. Let's see if I can just find what I called it. But the flat template is pretty accurate too. It shows it broken down into each head. And that's
okay.
on the module. So let's see. I'm gonna open it up. Tell you what it's called. It's called.
As I was reading the textbook and I didn't see it on the textbook either.
I'll look, but it's under day 18, children's flat template. And that template has it broken down with the grid. So let's see. Yeah. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 heads. So it's broken down on that flat template. So you want me to show it on my screen?
Yeah, I'm like, I think I printed it out. Oh, this one, it doesn't have, it's just the flats. This one?
Right. So you want to see the actual drawn poses with the grid on it. That's what you
No,
want.
I want to see like this, but with the like, you know how we did, how you had us like draw it for the women?
Right. Right. So you want to see that.
But like with the kids, like what number goes to each,
Okay. So it's
so that I can draw it like on my own, so I can like freehand.
the head is one head. From chin to the waist is the second head. And from waist to the right above the crotch, the third head. And the knees are right below the fourth head. So it's exactly like it is on the flat. It's just you put it,
Oh, okay. But you just make these bigger.
you can just line those out for the grid. So those
Okay.
bodies are 6 head. So
Okay.
if you just take the size of the head and a piece of paper and measure all the way down the head size, you'll see that it's the 6 heads.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just I was like, I thought it was gonna be like. I get what you're trying to say. I get it now. You made them bigger, but you know, like usually they start off small and then we do it bigger.
Right. But I did do it the first time I demoed it. So I'll find it. It's here somewhere. I just did. I'll find it. So can you see what I'm drawing, Daniela?
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I started with 0. So it's actually 5 heads, but I called it 6.
So it's 0.
No, I'm calling it.
3, 4. Wait. Oh, okay. 0.
So that first demo, I took a photo and I put the access line through the photo, and then I measured the head and then went all the way down with the head size. And that's when I
Oh,
6 heads. So this one I'm making the 0. Yeah, this one comes out 6 heads. The younger they get, the shorter they get as far as head size. But that one's a little bigger. This one's a little smaller. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. You want me to rescan these so you have those measurements?
no, it's okay. I can write them down. I have the picture.
Miss Rad, could you please put it back up so I could take a picture of it real quick?
Sure.
Thank you. Can you push it up a little more? Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Miss Rad, you put up a picture earlier with like a schedule on it of like things that we had to do, right? Miss Rad?
I'm sorry, I had it on mute. I've been answering you over and over. Yeah. I did. Is something confusing?
I just forgot to take a picture of it. Could you please put it back up on the screen?
Okay, which picture was it?
I just remember it said like the stuff we had to do. I think it was
You know, list?
yeah, it was a list.
Is it written by hand?
Yes.
Okay. Give me a second.
No worries. Sorry about that.
Okay, I put it close. Was it this one?
Yes.
Okay. And I'm doing the assignment sheet and it'll have everything on there.
Okay. Can you push it up a little bit, please?
Yeah, when in doubt, the assignment sheet, which I haven't made yet, will have everything that's needed to be in the assignment.
Is there anything after 3?
No, not yet.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Pretty much it. Yeah. So what time did you guys get to sleep?
Well,
12?
I went to bed so early last night, like 8:30. I was so tired.
Yeah, it builds up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I think being on the computer a lot makes you tired. I think it zaps your energy. I don't know what it does, but I think it creates brain fog.
I definitely want to take a nap after class, and sometimes I do if like I was up really late, but then I think it's really important to like go outside and go for a walk after. Like I'll go
Oh,
on a bike ride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
definitely.
Are you living in downtown?
No, I live in Redondo. It just sounds like downtown because I live behind a fire department, a busy building, and then they're always like there's either construction going on or like someone doing the lawn. It's just horrible.
So how did you live in Redondo and find out about trade tech?
So I used to work at a Trader Joe's,
Yeah.
and you know, people would ask you like, oh, like what do you do? Because, you know, just curious. Most people my age that work at a grocery store, they're still in school. So then, you know, I would tell them like, oh, you know, I'm not in school right now because I just don't want to be in school and have like a bunch of debt. But I want to do fashion design. And then they're like, oh yeah, you know, I went to FITM, but don't go to FITM. I just found out about trade tech. So it's just word of mouth. And a lot of people told me about trade tech.
Oh,
From
wow.
word of mouth, and that they wish they went there instead of FITM.
Yeah.
So I just got lucky because I knew I never wanted to give up on education. I
Yeah.
knew that there was a different kind of education that I had to find
Yeah.
that wouldn't put me in so much financial debt.
Yeah. I went to a regular college,
Not much more
anything for fashion.
money.
So it,
$100 extra dollars.
oh, you mean to go to a private school?
Well,
That-
FITM's crazy expensive.
Yeah.
It's really expensive there.
When I went there, I'm really old. It was $2,000 to go there.
Wow, that's pretty good.
1974.
I guess that's really a lot back then, though.
No, I was able to pay it back with student loans.
Oh, that's good.
Still wasn't that much.
Yeah, it's $2,000 a class. My ex goes there.
My payments were $35 a month
Wow.
for 7 years. And so it was payable. When I got my full-time job, I could pay it.
That's really nice.
But
What I don't understand is how come they don't teach you how to sew there? That's really odd.
sewing. But you can't compare what you get here. You get 4.5 hours every day of the week.
Yeah.
No, you can't compare. It's like an appetizer to a full dinner. You get the dinner here. So no,
Yeah, I'm hungry.
oh, that's funny. They teach sewing because I taught sewing there.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
But it's not as intensive, is it?
No, it's much more intense here. You're going to learn a lot more.
Yeah. And it's way cheaper.
Yeah. And it's thorough.
Hmm.
I didn't find out about trade tech till after I graduated. And then I was trying to do it and work full time, which you know is hard.
So a month.
When did you start teaching?
I'm 65.
Sessions a
Started
month.
in
Wait,
2001.
yeah. Maybe.
So 19 years.
Oh, wow. You started in 2000?
Yeah.
Hmm. And then from before that, you worked a lot, just doing illustration.
Still a freelance illustrator. I still have that job.
Yeah.
Whenever it's deadlines to grade all the homework, I always get a big job.
Oh, wow.
I'll stay up for like 2 nights without sleep and get that job done and grade everybody.
Wow.
It always snowballs at the same time. I don't understand. like in the
Life comes in waves, doesn't it?
they know that you're busy, so they're gonna throw it on you.
Mhm.
So,
Well, that's amazing. That's a lot of work.
yeah, but I like working for the studios. That's fun.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
I like tooting around and seeing all the shows on the studio lot. I think it's enjoyable.
Have you seen the show Hollywood on Netflix?
Oh, it's so good.
Is that
Yeah, I finished it last night.
is it a movie or a series?
It's a series. It's really good.
And it's called Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll look for it.
It's based off of like actual events in the 1950s about like people trying to make it in Hollywood and working like in the film industry.
Wow.
So they deal with a lot of like race and like sexual orientation and stuff like that. I feel like they kind of made it like what they wish the actors did. It's like what they wish they would have like had the balls to do, to like stand up for themselves and to like not get pushed around because of
Yeah.
things that they can't help, which is their orientation and their race. So it's actually really cool. It's kind of, I feel like it's like what they wanted to happen, which is nice. It's kind of like but-
50, so
The directors, that's actually true what they do to the male actors.
honestly, I cry. Like, it's so good.
My classmate last session, and she told me that actually happens.
Wow.
Yeah, some of it actually happens. Like,
The directors and agents abuse a lot of the male young actors.
Wow.
it's so sad because they go crazy for being in the closet.
Well, I had a student who went to a yoga class near Melrose, near CBS Studios, and she met a stylist and she got to intern with her and got to go to all the red carpet events. So you never know when you're going to run into someone that gives you a job opportunity.
Wow.
I have a girlfriend who met someone at a wedding and she got to be a set decorator for the movies, and her career has done it for 30 years, all because she met somebody at a wedding. You just
That's fate. Wow.
never know.
$50 per
They were getting married and she got married to money.
and tape.
That's cool.
It's funny, I'm starting to recognize everybody's voice. I could tell when you talk who it is. I can't tell Daniela and Leslie apart because both your voices are similar. I haven't figured that out yet, but usually I can tell.
I feel like we have two different voices.
Well, when you talk a lot, that's Daniela, right?
Yeah.
You have a little upswing on your voice if you talk a lot of words. Then I can tell. But when it's just one or two words, I can't tell. Because you both have a soft voice. But your voice at the end of a sentence has a little lift, and then I can tell it's you. We all have like unique differences that it's like your signature. You have a signature voice. You can tell.
Daniela, you have that accent, right? It sounds like it.
Everyone says it, but I think it's because I grew up in the valley.
Oh, okay.
And my parents are like both mixed.
Okay.
Well, my mom's Mexican and my dad's white, and so maybe that can be it too.
Do you speak Spanish?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'm from Minnesota, and even then, when I lived there, they told me I sounded like I was from somewhere else. I think I just watched too much TV when I was younger, and then I would start to talk like all the people. Like I was obsessed with Jersey Shore when I was like 10, like so I started talking like that because I thought it was like funny. Like I don't know.
I know something funny. My boyfriend used to work at Trader Joe's, and Snooki, he saw Snooki.
Really?
Yeah.
Which one? Which Trader Joe's?
The one in Beverly Hills on San Vicente, I think.
Oh my gosh. Does she live in LA now? Interesting.
No, I think she was visiting at the time, but they had like kicked her out because she brought a camera crew in.
Ah! Wow. I
Okay,
like her.
class is going to end in 1 minute. So it's not due, the project is not due Monday, in case you were like Jewel and thought it was. It's not due till the following Monday. So you'll be working on that all week. You think that's too much time, or you think you need the time?
I think we need the time because
I need the time.
I think
Yeah.
And the flats is on the module.
The flat
Yeah.
template is on the module. I'm not sure if my flats are. I will get them on there.
The children's flat.
The children's templates on there and the children's, but I don't know if my flats, those pencil ones I did, they may not be on there yet, but I'll get them on there before the weekend's over.
It's okay. Yeah, because I started drawing out like my children in the clothes, but I'm about to start working on the flats. I want to work on the flats this weekend, at least get like 2 done or something.
So have any of you ordered supplies to have them delivered?
yes.
Yeah.
I got mine already.
Oh, cool.
Do we get like, oh, it's on the syllabus, huh? Like what, how many
Yeah, it's on there.
colors to get it? Okay.
Can't find it, email me and I'll send it.
Oh, that's very sweet. I'm sure I'll be able to find it.
Okay.
I should do that.
So all those sketches I did, I had it day 14 or day 18. I had some others that I did a couple days ago. I'm going to put them all together and then I'll make a separate module that's just detail library. So if you're designing and want to add a detail, you could just go in there and look at details of clothing and get ideas. So it'll be in a separate module besides the day that I did it. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay, I know it's getting harder to find things because there's so much to look through. So I'm trying to make it user friendly. Okay. Okay, so we're 1 minute overtime. So have a great weekend. Get a lot of sleep.
You
Can I take a picture of that, Miss Rad?
I didn't hear the beginning of your question.
I was gonna take a picture of what you put.
This writing?
Yeah, can you put it up more for the? No, oh, you don't have number 4 yet.
Yeah, number 4, I didn't write anything. So I'll be typing that in the assignment page. It'll have everything.
Thank you, Miss Rad. Have a good weekend.
You have a good weekend.
Bye, Miss Rad.
Bye.
See you on Monday.
Bye, see you Monday.